A wee bit of a talk on the Gospel this morning, Matthew 18, 1-5. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" When we come into the liturgy, we have a feeling in ourselves that we want to be told by God that we are worthy and good, and that we are capable, and that we are capable of more than we have accomplished at the moment. In the last years of our life, we look back and we think we've experienced some wonderful things, but we come into the liturgy with no thought that that's the end. And so we walk into the room, we walk into the church, we walk into the place where we are about to experience liturgy, and in the depths of our heart, there is this desire to be with God and to be affirmed that there's more for us. And Jesus said, "Who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" We don't necessarily want to be the greatest or even great, but we do want to be brilliant. We want to be useful. Even if we're a hermit, we want God to use that life in the minds and lives of others. We were just talking this morning about how I met a couple of lads when I was coming out of St. Anthony Monastery in Egypt. And one of them was the nephew of the current Pope. And one of them gave me his grandmother's St. Anthony medallion that he absolutely cherished. And both of them wanted to belong to me and to whatever my life was. And I wasn't the greatest in their life, but Christian fellowship is like that. You want to belong to other people. You want to belong to people within the kingdom of heaven. And there are some that you look up to and some that you serve, and you're not the greatest. And no one's the greatest except Jesus. But everybody wants to belong. It's a big, huge family. Everybody wants to belong. And I think it's Christ's ministry to find people to whom we belong. He gives us people that we can serve and people that we can be in awe of and that we can live up to. And Jesus goes on, he says, "He called a child whom he put among them and said, 'Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like children,'" that's one way of saying you're not open and you're not kind and generous and loving. You are a cold-hearted brick. And unless you change and become like the child that you once were, he says, you'll never enter into the kingdom of heaven. So when we come into the liturgy, there's this expectation inside of us. We are absolutely cut free from the world. And we're in God's domain, God's realm. And our heart is wanting to be affirmed by God that we have got more and that we are worthy of God and worthy to receive and uplifted in that way, totally, with no restraints. No human being that's ever criticized us is coming into the liturgy with us. Nobody who's ever put us down or blocked us or ghosted us or rejected us is coming into the liturgy with us. We are a boat cast adrift on the ocean of the love of God, and there's only God in us. And this is the childlike heart. Have you ever seen a child in the supermarket? You know, the child wants a lolly or something like that. And the child has got no other focus but mum. The child's not looking to anybody else with any money, not looking to the cashier, only focused on mum. This is how we come into the liturgy. We're totally focused on God. And then Jesus says, whoever becomes humble like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. That means that the kingdom of heaven is full of the greatest. There's no one least in the kingdom of heaven. No one. So I take back my words. I'm the greatest, and you're the greatest. in the kingdom of heaven. Why are we the greatest? Because we are of God. And God never, ever rebukes himself or that which is of him. Never, ever, in any way, rebukes himself or that which is of himself. And we who are in the kingdom of heaven are unable to be rebuked by God. We're able to be pruned, able to be given things to grow us, but never does he rebuke us because we are of God. And so coming into the liturgy is coming into the absolute freedom of being a child in the kingdom of heaven, as Jesus is saying it, who is the greatest. And the greatness has got two wonderful conditions to it. One of those is that we can pour out our hearts in love to God. We can just adore God. We can bless God. We can thank God. We can praise God. And God inhabits his praises. We meet God. And at the same time, at the time of prayer, God is waiting to hear, what do you want? Is it your birthday? Is it Christmas? Of course it is. It's your birthday and Christmas on every day. What do you want? How can we grow together? Ask me and you will receive it. Let's grow together. So we've got these two features that are open to the little child. A little child comes to you and asks for something. You, in your good nature, are never going to reject that child. You're going to say, yes,